kitchen, of the cabin, and around the world, this is Voices from the Solitude, a podcast about the coronavirus and gaming. Today, I'm talking to Nick from the Ludoquist. We talk about adapting to the times. So, I'm here with my first FLGS owner of the week, and this is Nick Smith, who owns the Ludoquist in Croydon, I believe.
That's correct. So, which is definitely in South London, despite people saying otherwise.
Well, I was gonna ask. The only thing I know about Croydon is The Cure come from Croydon. Is that correct?
David Bowie comes from Croydon.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about The Cure, in all honesty, but he wouldn't believe me. Kate Moss comes from Croydon.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to ask you is, could you give us a sort of rundown on what the Ludoquist is, kind of what you do, and why you wanted to start the business in the first place?
So the Ludoquist is a board game cafe / bar / restaurant. I use restaurant term to. I think it's possible to define different categories of shop / cafe / restaurant. We do full meals. You can have a 3-course meal with us. I mean, that's stretching it a little bit, but we're not just cakes and scones and tea, which is the image of what the word cafe brings up for some people. We started 3 years ago. We started working on this 4.5 years ago. We opened 2.5 years ago. And we wanted to become a place, specifically in Croydon, where people were able to interact across tables and not just on video screens. And we did it starting from we knew nothing about either being a game shop or being a cafe. But we had an idea of what we wanted, and what we wanted was definitely not a magic cave. There's nothing wrong with magic caves, but it wasn't what we were looking to do or be. We wanted to reach out to a much broader public than just gamers. And you can't see me put the inverted commas around that, because everyone is a gamer. So we are on the high street, literally on the high street. Our address is Croydon High Street. We have a large glass frontage. We're extremely visible. And our customer base is, through the week, we get what you might sort of expect at a traditional game shop. So we get Destiny people on a Monday, role players on a Tuesday, Euro gamers on a Wednesday. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is everybody, and it really is everybody. We get people in for dates during the week as well. But we get families playing Hungry Hippos. We get office parties. We get ladies with cocktails and Cards Against Humanity. And we get a lot of Monopoly played. And we get these things played right next to the people who are playing Gaia Project and Gloomhaven.
And so up until we'll get to sort of the COVID crisis in a bit, but sort of up until the COVID crisis, how successful had you been? How receptive had the public of Croydon been to a board game cafe?
Extremely. I think we pretty much we tried to do a soft launch on a Wednesday evening, and we more or less filled, and we've been more or less full since. We seat about 100 people. At the weekends, we turn that over 3 times on a Saturday and sort of 2 and a bit times on a Sunday. And during the week, most evenings, we have 60 to 80 people in. And that has been more or less since day one. Profitability-wise, it's a difficult way to make a living, because board game cafes break the cardinal rule of cafe profitability. To be profitable in a cafe, you want lots of people to come in. You want them to sit down, spend £5 or £6 with you, and then go away 20 minutes later, so the next person can come in and spend £5 or £6 with you. What we've discovered fairly recently was that we could fit another 10, 15 people in. And that made the difference from being kind of break-even just to being really quite nicely profitable. That was in October last year. In terms of success, this is something of a sadness. I'm sat in an empty cafe right now looking at the 2 global best game shop in the world awards that we won at Gamma 3 weeks ago. 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's the Games Manufacturing Association. Someone will probably pick me up on what it's actually called. And we won, I can't now remember actually the title of the awards, but anyway, essentially best in show and best game shop design. And that was actually a genuine honour, and a bit of a stunner. I woke up to find an email in my inbox saying, "You've won these things." Oh, that's good. So I think we've done well.
So what did you have to learn? So you said you'd not run a game shop before and you'd not run a cafe before. What were the sort of stumbling blocks in that initial time, and what mistakes did you make and how did you fix them?
Business-wise, we underestimated how much staff we would need, and and how much cleaning was involved. An awful lot of working in hospitality, I now know, is about cleaning. That's probably 60-70% of what you do with your time is you clean things, you wash dishes, you wash glasses, you wipe down surfaces. We didn't know what to buy into the shop. We have a very small retail area. It's about 100 square foot, which is, imagine a small living room, roughly speaking. It depends where you are in the country. Imagine a reasonable sized living room in London, or a small one in most of the rest of the country. I bought all the wrong things, and it took us a year and my colleague Amy actually working out what we should be selling for our game side to take off a bit, our game sales side. Our menu to start with was very basic compared to what it is now. We now sell more drinks than just about anywhere. We have a full range of alcoholic drinks, but we do shakes, we do smoothies, we do coffees, and we've had to learn how to make those and how to make them well. The aim with everything we do is to do it the best. We don't achieve that with anything. There are better pizza restaurants in Croydon, there are better dessert makers, there are probably not better game shops, in fairness. But we work hard to do what we do well, and our pizza is very good. We started doing deliveries of games recently, and I've had quite a few questions saying, "When are you going to deliver pizzas?" No. Running a cafe is a whole thing. If you think that can just be tacked onto running a game shop, no, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. My wife and I, essentially, we work together on all this, and very roughly speaking, it's fair to say she runs the kitchen side of things and I run the game side of things. We cross-pollinate a lot more than that, but there is some truth to it. And she's been brilliant inventing recipes, creating menus, and stuff. But learning all that, and learning our own customers, because our customers aren't going to be the same as other customers. If we'd opened 5 miles in a different direction, we would have had a different customer base, I have no doubt. But we love the customers we do have, but they would have been different.
And so I've been sort of looking at your social media posts and the updates on your website, and you posted quite an emotional post about having to close the doors of the cafe for the meantime. Sort of, how difficult was it for you to come I mean, I guess you were compelled by the government, but how difficult was it for you to close the doors of the cafe, and sort of how close are you to the breadline and with regards to closing?
So we closed a few days before most places. We were looking around, looking at people passing bits of cardboard to each other, and we just thought we can't do this. This is not safe. And it was honestly a great frustration when the Prime Minister suggested people shouldn't go to pubs but left them open, because that really was, yeah. Anyway, so we closed a bit before that. It was very difficult. It still is. I'm going to be all tearful for a moment. We have a big blue neon light with our brand name on, and switching that off did reduce me to tears. I had to go and hide in a corner for a bit and sob. The good news for us is that because we have had a few very good months and getting a few more seats in, we had some cash in the bank, so we have been able to pay all our staff. They're all furloughed, and we were able to tell them in advance. We sat them down and had the conversation and said, look, at some point we're going to be closing. That's a reality, and we will be able to give you some money for a bit. And then it turned out that the government came in with a package which is generous but a bit slow. And again, fortunately, we have got the cash in the bank to pay our furloughed staff until that government money comes through. We hope, depending slightly when the government money comes through. We have had to, pull in everything, obviously. It's difficult. Our rent here is very, very high indeed, and our rates. The rates holiday is very welcome, but unfortunately, our rates, being a London-based place of a certain size, are over the 51k a year, which means that we don't actually get any government help. The grants that are available to some smaller businesses, businesses may well turn over more than we do, but just in rates terms, that's how the government's chosen to measure them. Our landlord has become more cooperative, but I think, like an awful lot of businesses like ours, more cooperative is essentially meaning you don't have to pay it now. It doesn't mean you're not going to have to pay it ever. And at some point, we have to look at that and go, how much debt do we want to take on, and how much debt do we think we will be able to make back in the future for it to still be sane for us to continue. We're not at that point yet.
And so what is how long do you think, have you got a vague idea? If it extends, how long would you have to sort of rethink the whole concept of having the business?
Well, I think essentially, the government has essentially said they're giving 12 weeks help. In June, I think we may all have a better idea of all of us, because this is absolutely, every business is impacted by this. And in June, I suspect we will have a better idea of what's going on. Our concern is, while the government is talking about a 3 to 10 week lockdown, I am not sure that after lockdown, do restaurants suddenly get a free pass, that we're suddenly safe on some random date, and we don't know. And in fairness to the government, they don't know either, and the scientists don't know. I think that unless we can negotiate something with our landlords that is really quite far-reaching, we may never reopen in reality.
So what can we do? What can the people of Croydon and the people of South London do to help you over this difficult time?
So we're fortunate. We've always had a web shop. So I know a lot of game stores have suddenly had to go, oh God, we need a web shop now. Ours was already in place, which made life easier for us. And we are doing deliveries for a little bit. We were just doing them through the post office, which is our main supplier. And then we were reading about testament, if that's the right word. Anyway, statements from staff who were working in the post office saying basically that they were overstretched. So we stopped selling to the distant area and started doing online deliveries, local deliveries. So we are doing local deliveries in Croydon, and we've extended that out now to the surrounding boroughs, and particularly on the run between my home and the cafe. Essentially, I'm willing to drive as far as my bladder is safe, because we aren't really any longer in a situation where you can just pop into someone's house and say, "Do you mind if I pee you while after my delivery?" And I'm not as young as I was, so there's a limit on that. So we are doing deliveries, and at the moment, honestly, as a short-term thing, that's a really helpful cash flow business. And lots of people have bought lots of games, and I think partly that is to support their local game shop, which is lovely. Partly it is, oh dear God, we need some games to stop us from going insane. And do more of that, please. The other thing we're doing, we've set up a virtual Ludoquist. So we've set it up on Discord, and we are arranging the meetings that we would have had on a Monday, a Tuesday, or Wednesday. And we're having those on those days, and we've created Discord channels for the tables that our customers are familiar and comfortable sitting at. And then we're using those to go off and use chat, and then go to the various online gaming things, and that's great because that's keeping the community together. Actually, I will say this from a games cafe, game shop owner point of view. Seeing community members still involved with us, even if they're not actually spending money with us, is a real morale boost. It's really nice to see that. Oh dear, losing it again. So yeah, we've had a few emails saying, hope all is well, and those really touch us, I've got to say. So send an email to your game shop saying we want to be back. But if you can purchase from your local game shop, please purchase from your local game shop. I know we may not always be the cheapest. We're not always the most expensive by any means either, but if they can, please do that, because that's a real cash flow help for us at the moment.
Brilliant. So if anyone's in the local area and they want to come on the Discord, or they want to, go onto your website and, buy something from you, or just send you an email to say how much they appreciate you, what's the details?
Okay, well, essentially, if you Google Ludoquist, that will get you what you need. Learning how to spell that might be harder. So it's Ludoquist. That's Lima Uniform Delta Omega Quebec Uniform Iota India, not Iota, India Sierra Tango. Ludoquist, spelt as it sounds. And if you will get our Google, our website, and our Twitter and our Facebook and all that from doing that.
Brilliant. Well, I hope for the best, and hopefully that estimate is towards the shorter end rather than the longer end. And I hope, Nick, you for all the success in the future, and thank you for giving your time over.
Great, absolute pleasure. I hope that you've got better sound out of it than I did. You crackled up an awful lot, but hopefully that's good. Okay, Ben, thank you very much indeed.
If you want to support content like this, you can go to patreon.com/5G4D. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, and if you can, stay at home.